Hey everyone, I want to thank you for joining me here in Striker Game Time. Right now, I'm making another video about Warframe. Now, just recently, I think a couple days ago, they just did Warframe at PAX Australia 2016. And even though they didn't really bring up a whole lot of stuff during the conference, they did answer some questions. I'm not really going to get into what their answers were to the questions. I'm just going to bring up the questions that were posed, and then I'm going to give my take on just give my opinion on it, okay? So, with that being said, I know what, actually I am going to bring up some of the things they brought up before they actually got to the Q&A. So, right now, the main thing that they really brought up was, I wouldn't really exactly call them excuses, but they did actually bring up why it took as long as it did for War Within to come out. Now, the last cinematic quest they did, which was Second Dream, mainly only had like maybe 2 or 3 cinematics, right? They said with War Within, it's going to be a lot more cinematics, so that's why it took so long. And they actually admitted that they kind of shot themselves in the foot in regards to jumping the gun and announcing when it was going to be released. Okay, so they actually openly admitted that they were a little too gung-ho, and they said that it was going to be out sooner than it actually was, as you can see. Now, they did announce that it should be coming out sometime next week for PC, and most likely maybe a couple of weeks after that on the consoles. So, at least you got that. They also talked about... Now, we already knew about one Warframe they were adding, but what we did know is that they're actually adding 2. Now, right now, they're actually done designing the Bard Warframe, you know, the musical one, this, that, and the other, but there's a certain gameplay mechanic that they're playing around with, and they're not sure when they're going to release that one, so they're going to release the other one. Now, the other one they showed was actually an infected Warframe, which actually looked very nice. It kind of looked like an infected Excalibur a little bit, until it seems like it has 2 modes. It has its regular form, and then it has its full-on infected form, which looks like, oh my god, it looks like it could just go crazy and eat your kids or something like that. That's what it looks like. But it actually looked pretty nice. Other than that, they didn't really release a whole lot else otherwise. The main thing they were really talking about was War Within, what was going to be added to it. They showed a little teaser of what one of the missions is going to be. They showed a little teaser of it. They actually showcased, and I've actually I was really hoping they would do this, and they finally did. They actually released the video that showed that you'll be doing from Foot to Archwing. Now, unfortunately, Archwing hasn't really gotten the recognition that it needs to, and you know, it's just very underutilized. It wasn't really incorporated into the game. There's just a couple of Archwing missions spread here and there on the map, so it's not really being utilized as well as I think it should. But other than that, so far the Archwing, they're going to be actually incorporating that. Plus, it looks like they added a new mission type, and they said the initial plan for War Within was to actually release it in pieces, but given that three missions into that quest, there's a moment where you have to make a decision if you want to continue on with the quest, where you can't like turn back. Once you start, you're in there, or you can end the mission there, go back, and I think there's some kind of intel that you collected in that particular mission that you should go over before you actually decide what you're gonna do. So they had that, and it's a pretty interesting concept. Now, and they said that was the reason why there hasn't really been a whole lot of updates lately. I mean, other than a couple of hot fixes here and there, and the fact that they, instead of keeping Silver Grove with War Within, they just split it off. You know, Silver Grove was its own thing, and then War Within is going to be its own thing because of how big War Within is and how long it was going to take for them to actually get it done. So I can actually understand that. I mean, by all means, and I say the same thing in regards to Kingdom Hearts and any other games I'm looking forward to. If you have to take your time to make sure the game comes out right, please, for the love of God, take your time. Just do it. Don't rush it, because a lot of times when you rush games, that's what winds up happening. It winds up just completely screwing up the whole deal. So yes, please, by all means, take your time. Don't rush it. We can wait. Now, that being said, like I said, they didn't reveal a whole lot. They just pretty much went straight to their Q&A because they didn't really have a whole lot of time to work with. So. But I actually jotted down a couple of questions that they brought up that some of the other Tenno have brought up, because it was an entire panel and they were asking questions, things of that nature. So the first question that came up was, how can we Tenno help DE improve the game? And I think that question was a pretty easy one to answer. I mean, they've been doing this for a while now, through the forums. I mean, the thing is that Warframe is very open-ended. I mean, it's one of the few online games that actually thoroughly pay attention to their player base. They actually pay attention to their clientele. They don't just say, okay, well, we're going to do whatever we want to do, and whatever you got to say about it, oh, well, just you're stuck with it. No. If we have an opinion about the game, then they will take it under advisement, and sometimes, most of the time, like 7 times out of 10, they actually run with it. I mean, that's how a lot of these Warframes came about. That's how a lot of these game modes came about. That's how Arcwing came about. That's how Lunaro came about. That's how all these changes to Conclave came about. It was all user input. And also, that's where Tennogen came from. That's where it came from. It came from user input. You know, folks are finally making skins, making different helmets, different skins for weapons, this, that, and the other, and it's just completely blown up. And I mean, I have seen some awesome skins. The majority of the Warframes that I use on not the majority of them, but the main ones that I use are using Tennogen skins. Okay, and to be honest with you, just a little side note. If anyone is listening to this who uses Tennogen, who creates these skins, please, for the love of God, I'm asking you, please make another body skin for Atlas. Okay, please make another one. I never really did care for Atlas's look. I mean, especially with the 6 bacon strap flapping over his dick. So yeah, give us another skin. It's kind of weird and awkward looking, so give us another one. The helmets I've seen, especially the one they just released, looks awesome. And for some reason, the top of his head looks like the 6-star Dragon Ball. Just saying. But yes, definitely. And I think y'all kind of bit off of Overwatch a little bit with Zenyatta with the prayer beads around his neck. But anyway, yes, please make a full body skin for Atlas. I've seen a lot of awesome skins on Tennogen. Not even the ones that have been accepted. And I don't just mean the ones that have been accepted. I'm talking about the ones that haven't been accepted. They were still very good, and I hope they actually go back into the runnings, because there's a lot of them that didn't go through, but were still very, very nice looking, and I would really love to see them. And then, matter of fact, this first question actually I'm actually kind of running into another question that someone else brought up in regards to the obstacle courses. As you know, we all know about the obstacle courses, that one little loop around, and you know, the jumping and all that stuff. But actually, there's like, let me see. There's actually 3 questions that kind of tie into this. Tie into the first one: how can Nintendo help DE improve the game? And the other question was modulation. Being able to create your own obstacle courses, or create your own levels, things of that nature. You know, modulation. You know, kind of like, I know I actually brought this up before in one of my Warframe suggestion videos, but more along the lines of, like, say, the Forge mode and the Theater mode. With Doom, they got the snap maps, which is actually a pretty cool concept that they could really use in Warframe, because that's basically all these missions are. They're randomly generated snap maps. That's what they are. So that's something they could have really gone into in regards to that. And the other thing they brought up was obstacle course combat. Now you do see that the obstacle course actually lets you do like different kind of parkour elements, things that and the other. But the thing that really brought that up was that 100 Days of Warframe video that Mashed brought out. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. It's actually pretty good. It's very funny, you know, and it really vibes with the feel of Warframe, especially when you first start out. You're gonna be a little clunky with it. You're gonna be a little inexperienced, but then as time goes on, you just start getting better and better and better. And that cartoon shows it. So please go see it. It's very funny. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to the description down below in the description, so y'all can go check it out, because it is like very, very good. They did a very good job with it. Mashed, very, very nice video. Definitely go see it. Now back to what it said in regards to the obstacle course combat. Yes, it could be something they can add in regards to the obstacle course, especially like you do like a couple flips here, jump there, you got a landing pad full of enemies, you finish them off, then go on to the next one, you know, things of that nature. It's something for you to really practice, and I think that could be something that new players could actually take advantage of, because at least with that, it has some way for them to really practice, you know, a way for them to really get used to the parkour and the combat system. Because I really hate to say this, because a lot of times, especially since I started playing Warframe, I've been telling friends about Warframe, and some of them have liked it, but the main complaint that a lot of them have said in regards to the gameplay is the fact that it is not new player friendly, and I'm sorry, I have to thoroughly agree with that. It really isn't. It's not very new player friendly, and that's not really a good thing. So that's something they need to add on to. I mean, even though the game has a training mode, it's only for the more advanced players. Because the only way you can get it is if you have to do the sanctuary hunting missions, the sanctuary targets. You have to do those, and you have to get like what was it, like 50,000 points in order to buy it. And personally, I don't think that's fair, especially for something that is in and of itself a training mode / test room. So you would think they would actually release that as some sort of beginning training mode for the players, but they didn't, unfortunately. So that being said, these are like multiple things that we can do, that DE can give us to help them, because this way, instead of focusing on giving us stuff all the time, this, that, and the other, just let us come up with some content to keep us occupied while y'all work on the major stuff, you know, like your Second Dreams and your World Withins and things of that nature, you know what I mean? It just makes sense, you know. I mean, that's basically what kept Halo going as long as it did, was the fact that they were giving us content to play around with. They were giving us things to really keep us occupied. I mean, that's where the whole thing from Red vs. Blue came from. It was basically just a bunch of guys sitting around, playing around with Forge mode, and they say, you know what? Why don't we just make a cartoon out of it, and the rest is history. Okay? They could do the same thing in Warframe, and I mean, I think it would be so good. And I know I actually brought this up in one of the my last suggestion video, but you know, give us that, you know, something where we can actually create video content, maybe create some parkour maps, some challenges, you know, maybe make a map, put it out there, let other folks download it and play it and things of that nature, you know what I mean? It's just so many things that they can hand to us so they can focus on the more major projects in the game, you know? So there's that. Alright, Seekers, I want to thank you for joining me here in Striker Game Time. If you'd like to support my channel, please follow the link over here to lead to my Patreon channel. my Patreon page. There you can help support the channel even further, help me get equipment, things of that nature. Also, be sure to visit the videos that I have overhead, past videos that I've done. And until next time, be cool, God bless, game on.